Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel MK's Tech Talks. So in this YouTube channel, you can find one playlist with the name DevOps Training Series 0 to Hero. So in this playlist, you can see the different topics like Linux, Git, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible, Terraform, and AWS Cloud from basic to advanced concepts with real-time scenarios. So even if you don't know anything about DevOps, no need to bother. So just to follow this playlist, so you can become DevOps engineer in 2 months. So please like, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel. So MKS Tech Talks. Thank you. So in the previous session, we created Jenkins instance, right? So try to access Jenkins even. So if you want to access Jenkins UI, what we have to do is so always Jenkins instance has to be in the running state. Okay. So once the Jenkins instance is in running state, we can connect it to our Jenkins UI. So try to connect it to our Jenkins server. So login as root. So su hyphen. And we already installed Jenkins, right? Check the status of the Jenkins. So to check the status of the Jenkins, the command is systemctl status Jenkins. Now it is in active state. Okay, so Jenkins is active. So we already started the Jenkins, right? So in the yesterday session, right? So now it is in active state. Okay, so once our Jenkins is active, up and running, then only we can connect it to our Jenkins UI. So how to connect it to Jenkins UI? So to connect it to Jenkins UI, we have to use a server IP address. That is the public IP address. Our Jenkins server public IP address and port, Jenkins port. What is the default port of Jenkins? 8080 is the default port of the Jenkins. Okay. So try to connect it to Jenkins. So we need a server IP address, right? Jenkins server public IP address we need. So copy this IP address and here colon 8080. So this is the default port of the Jenkins. So try to connect. It's taking time. Okay. So in the previous session, we created an admin user ID and password, right? We have to give the same user ID and password. So this is my user ID. And I am entering the password also. Let's check now. So the UI will be somewhat slow. Jenkins UI will be somewhat slow because so we are using low configuration instance. If you see, this instance is a T2 micro. T2 micro. So this is a low configuration. So that is the reason here the Jenkins UI will be somewhat slow. While working on the Jenkins UI, it will be somewhat slow. Okay. So if you need a faster navigation here, you have to increase the configuration of our server. Okay, so instead of T2 micro, you can go with the T2 medium, some other instance type. Okay, so
But so
now,
we aren't, but so we
yes,
aren't inside the AWS here now. But This is outside the server, isn't it?
No. So the performance depends on the server configuration. Okay.
Okay.
So this particular UI, right? So from where we are accessing? From this instance, from this server. So we installed Jenkins on this server. Okay. So through this server only, we are accessing the Jenkins UI.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So, so as of now, we didn't created any projects. And if we have any projects, the project's information will be available in this body. Okay. Now, so before creating the project, just we'll see what are the different options we have while working with the Jenkins. Okay. Now, so on the left side, you can see manage Jenkins. Okay. So if you want to do any configuration changes in our project, if you want to integrate with any third-party tools like Maven, Docker, Kubernetes, or if you want to install any plugins. Okay, so if we want to perform any activity on the Jenkins, always we have to go to the Manage Jenkins. Okay, so click on Manage Jenkins. So under Manage Jenkins, so we can see many options here. So to install the new plugins, and if you want to add credentials of third-party tools, and if you want to add the users, so everything will be available under Manage Jenkins only. So here you can see plugins option. So first of all, go to the plugins. So we already installed some default plugins, right? So we can see all the plugins. What are the plugins we installed, right? So that plugins information now we can see here. So while working with plugins, we can see different tabs like so installed plugins, available plugins. Okay, so like that, different tabs will be available. So you see, so available plugins means the plugins which are readily available for installation. Okay, so these plugins we can install at any time. That is the available plugins. See, so you can see hundreds of plugins available here. So Java, Mail API, Command, Agent Launcher, SSS Server. Okay, so Pipeline REST API. So like that, different plugins we can see Maven integration. So this is also one of the useful plugin to integrate our Jenkins with the Maven. Okay, so we can see many plugins here, hundreds of plugins. So these plugins we can install at any time. And if you want to see what are the already installed plugins, so on the left side you can see installed plugins option. Click on the installed plugins option. Okay, so these are the installed plugins. We have ant plugin, Apache HTTP components plugin. So you can see many plugins which are already installed, build timeout plugin like that. Okay, so here now once we install any plugin, right? So here you can see ant plugin, right? So this plugin will not be available under available plugins tab. Okay, so just search for ant. The first plugin you are seeing ant plugin, right? So what this one will do, adds Apache ant support to Jenkins. It is like a support plugin. Okay, so now go to the available plugins. So search for ant plugin. So that plugin will not be available under available plugins. Okay, so once we install any plugin, the plugin will be available only in the installed tabs. It will not be available in the available plugins. Similarly, once we have any available plugin, if that plugin got installed, again it will disappear from the available plugins. So just search for ant plugin. Plugin. So you see nothing is there. Ant plugin is not there. So, okay, so nothing is there for the ant plugin. Okay, so similarly, Now I have just try to install some other plugin now. So if you want to install any plugin, right, what we have to do is, so just you have to select the plugin. I have Docker pipeline plugin. So I want to install, just I am trying to install Docker pipeline plugin. So click on that, select that particular plugin, and on the right side you can see install option. So if you click install option, this plugin will be installed. Okay, so once we install this plugin will goes to the installed plugins tab. We cannot see this plugin under available plugins tab. Okay, so now try to install this plugin. So click on install. So whenever we are trying to install any plugin, so if we have any dependent plugins for that particular plugin, all the dependent plugins also going to be installed. Okay, you see we have dependent plugins here: authentication token, Docker commands, loading plugin extensions, like that. Other dependent plugins also getting installed here. So it is taking time. So download is in progress. So once the plugin got downloaded, it will be installed. So here, uh, so normally it will not take this much of time because as we are using low configuration server, right? We are seeing some delay here. Now just to check in the installed plugins whether Docker plugins available or not. So now search for Docker pipeline plugin. Docker, you see, Docker pipeline plugin got installed. This is the plugin we installed. Okay. Okay, so in this way, you can install any plugins at any time. So how to install the plugins? We have to go to the manage Jenkins. Under manage Jenkins, you can see plugins. Under plugins, we have to go to the available plugins tab. From the available plugins tab, we have to install the plugins. Okay. So this is about the plugins. So similarly, we have other options also while working with manage Jenkins. So here, if you see, we have security. Okay, what this security will do is a secure Jenkins. Okay, so define who is allowed to access, who is allowed to use the system, who is allowed to use this particular Jenkins. Okay, so if you want to restrict the access level of a particular user, what we have to do is we have to go to the security and we have to define the security for that particular user. Okay, so before going to the security, so in the real time, what is going to happen is whatever the dashboard we are seeing here, right? So this dashboard will be accessed by all the team members. So we'll have dev team members, we'll have QA members. Okay, so we'll have ops, so ops team. So all the team members are going to access the same Jenkins UI. Okay, so now, so for that reason, what we are doing is we are going to define the access level depending on the role of the person. We will define the access level depending on the role of the person. So for development team members, will provide one level of access on our Jenkins UI. Okay, so for QA persons, we'll define one level of access, like that. So depending on the role of the person, we'll define the access level. So now try to create some users. So if you want to create the users, so you can see users option. Okay, so under users, what you can do is you can create, delete, modify users. Okay, so these operations we can perform. So these are the Jenkins users we are trying to create. So click on the users So means if any user want to access the Jenkins, so we have to create the account for that particular user, and we have to provide the credentials of that particular user. So by using that credentials only, the user can access the Jenkins. So while creating the users, we can define the access level. Okay, so what access that particular user will have. So we can define that access level while creating the user. You see, we can see create user option. So click on the create user. Now can you username? I'm giving so, so dev user one. This is the username I'm giving, and password. Just I'm giving something here. Okay. Now, so I'm giving email ID as dev user one at abc.com. Okay, just some dummy email ID I'm giving. So create user. So in this way, we can create a n number of users. So once we have users, right, we can define the access level to the users. So similarly, try to create one more user. So create user. Okay, so here I'm giving so QA user one. Um, I'm giving some password here. So full name QA user one. So at the rate abc.com. Something I'm trying to add one more user. So create user. So in this way, we can create the number of users, and we can define the access level to these users. So to define the access level, so we have to go to the security option. Okay, so through the security option, we can define the access level of the users. Now, so these are the users we have: dev user one, QA user one, and SKK as the admin user. Okay, so admin user will have all the privileges. So no need to define the privileges access level for the admin user. Okay, so admin user will have everything. He can perform the any activity, but the normal users, whatever the users we are creating, right? So for these users, we have to define the access level. So how to define the access level? So to define the access level, go to the manage Jenkins go to the dashboard and go to the manage Jenkins. So under manage Jenkins, you can see security option. So now go to the manage Jenkins. Okay, now here go to the security option. So under security, again, we can see different options. So check what are the options we have under security. So here, security realm we have to choose. So Jenkins, so under authorization, right? Logged in users can do anything. Okay, so anyone can do anything. Means any user who whoever is trying to access Jenkins, so he can perform anything. But this is not the recommended way. And logged in users can do anything. Means whoever logged in into Jenkins, they will get a full privileges. So this is also not the recommended way. So we will go with the matrix based security. Okay, and the project based security. Okay, so under matrix based security, you see, so we can define the level of access for the different users. So what are the options we have here? So user level, you see, user or group level, we can define the security. So how to define? So here see overall create up, create access, overall read access. Okay, so like that, and credentials at credentials wide. Okay, so view access, update access. Okay, and at agent level, what is the agent? Agent is nothing but, so if we have any Jenkins slaves, okay, so in some situation, what is going to happen is, so if we have more projects to handle, okay, so with the help of the single Jenkins user, we cannot handle all the projects. Okay, so in that situation, what we can do is, instead of going with the single Jenkins instance, we are going to create the Jenkins slaves also. So to distribute the traffic, okay, so we'll create the Jenkins slaves to distribute the traffic to increase the performance. Okay, so the slaves, whatever the slaves we have, right, that slaves we are calling as the agents. Okay, so agents are nothing but the Jenkins slaves. So at agent level, so we can see create option. So what this create option represent? So this permission allows users to create the agents. Okay, so like that, different permissions we can see here at job level. So at job level we have create option. So job is nothing but project. Just remember. So remember, in the Jenkins, whenever we are calling as a job, it represent a project. Okay, so job is nothing but a project. Okay, so create, if we go with the create, it will create a new job. And if we go with the cancel, okay, so what this cancel will do is, this permission grants the ability to cancel a scheduled or a abort a running build. Okay, so if we have any scheduled build, if we have any running build, okay, so we can cancel or we can abort that particular build, so by using the cancel option. Okay, so like that, you can see different options here. Similarly under run option, so update, so we have under run, we can see, so update, replay, delete. Okay, so what this update will do, so this permission allows users to update description and other properties of a build. Okay, so we can, so while running the build, right, if you want to so change the properties of the build, we can change the properties of the build. For example, to leave notes about the cause of a build failure, like that. Okay, so we can update at the runtime. Okay, so like that we can see different options. So now, so what we have to do is, we have to add the user, we have to define the permission for that particular user. Okay, so how to add the user? So we can see add user. So click on add user. So username. So we have dev user one, right? So dev user one. So check whether we so you see dev user. We already created dev user one. So that particular user we can add. So what are the users we already created, right? Only that users we can add here. You see, we added dev user one here. Dev user one we added. So once we added dev user one, we can define the access level. So credentials, you see, at credentials level. So I'm giving. the view access for dev user one means, so dev user one can see the credentials. Okay, so he can see the credentials, and at the agent level, so I'm giving create access means dev user one can create the agents. So dev user one can create the slaves. At job level, job means project level, at project level I'm giving create. Okay, so delete option, delete access. Okay, means dev user one can create the project, he can delete the project. Okay, so similarly try to add one more user. We have qa user also, right? So try to add the qa user. So qa, so user one, is it qa user one? So we already created qa user one, so we can add that particular user. We can define the access level for the qa user also. So here you can see, so overall I'm giving create option for the qa user means, so he can create the agent, he can create the job, he can do anything, any creation related operations. Okay, and at agent level I'm giving delete option means qa user can delete the agents, and at job level I'm giving delete option means qa user can delete the process. So like that, so we can define the access level of the users under matrix based security. So this matrix based security is we are going to define on the role of the person. Okay, so now if we define qa user, for the qa user to create credentials, to create the credentials. So what is going to happen with matrix based security is, so qa user will have credentials create access on all the projects. Whatever the access level we are defining here, this belongs to all the projects. It is not the project specific. Okay, this access is not the project specific. Okay, so this access is user specific. This access is user specific. So qa user will have, so credentials create access on all the projects. So in this way we can define the matrix based security. Similarly, we have project based matrix authorization strategy. So this is another type of a security we can define in the Jenkins. So what this project based matrix authorization strategy will do is, so if we want to define the security level at project, okay, if we want to define the security at project level, then we can choose project based security. Okay, so here also we can see the same options. So but these are project specific, these are project specific. Okay, so here also we have to add the user, so we can define the user. I have dev user one, dev user one. Okay, so add the dev user. Okay, here spelling is wrong, so I'm going to delete this user is not there. So add user, so dev user one. So this is the name we have given, right? Yes, dev user one. Similarly, I can add a QA user, whatever. Okay, so and I can define at agent level. At agent. I'm giving create access means for dev user one on a particular project, he can perform agent creation. Okay, so similarly at job level, so I'm giving create option means, on a particular project, dev user one will have project creation access like that. So at the project level also we can define the access for the different users. So in this way we can secure the Jenkins. So in the interviews, right, so you will get this question, how can you secure the Jenkins? So this is one of the important question you are going to get. How to secure the Jenkins? To secure the Jenkins, mostly we are going to use matrix based security or project based matrix authorization security depending on our requirement. Okay, so both will work here. Both will provide good security for our Jenkins. So we can see other options also. So these are not recommended. Anyone can do anything. Legacy mode, logged in users can do anything. So these options are not recommended. Okay, so only we are going to work with the matrix based security and project-based matrix authorization strategy. So these two we are going to prefer. Okay. So for that is about the security for the Jenkins. And now check for the other options. So any doubts up to now? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. And here we have security credentials. So credentials means, so if you want to add any credentials, right? So to configure the credentials, so we can go with the credentials option. So click on the credentials, check what is what we can see under credentials. So means if you want to add any third party tools like a GitHub, okay, so we can add the GitHub also. GitHub credentials also we can add here. Okay, similarly Docker credentials, Kubernetes credentials we can add here. So here, if you want to add the credentials, right, you can see add credentials option. Click on add credentials. So we can define different levels of credentials like user ID, password we can add, and secret files we can add, secret text we can add. So different options will be available while adding the credentials in our Jenkins. So you see username with password. This is we can add the username and password, or we can add SSS username with private key. We can add secret file, secret text, certificate also we can add. So that is up to us which option we are selecting here. Okay, and we have to define which type of credentials we are adding, and username and password we have to define. Okay, so if we are going with username and password, it will ask for username and password. So if we are going with some secret text, right, so is here secret text we have to provide. For that secret text we have to give some name. So this name is for our understanding only, for our remembrance only. Okay, so secret text is important here. Similarly, you can see certificate. So certificate, which type of certificate we are trying to add? That certificate we have to upload the certificate. Okay, so like that we can see different level of credentials here. So secret file also we can see. Okay, we have to add the secret file. So okay, so like this, if so we can add the credentials of the third party tools like GitHub, Docker, Kubernetes, like that. Okay, so that is about the credentials. And now go to the manage Jenkins. Okay, now here, so we saw security credentials users, right? Mm, so plugins also we saw, and so system configure global settings and pass. If you want to configure global settings and pass, we can go to the system option. So under system option, you can see, so the home directory of the Jenkins. Okay. You see, so home directory. What is the home directory here? So valid Jenkins. This is the important. Okay. So home directory is valid Jenkins. Valid Jenkins is the home directory of the Jenkins. So here you have to remember. So Jenkins home directory is /var/lib/Jenkins. So in this particular home directory, okay, in this particular Jenkins home directory, all the Jenkins related information will be available. So Jenkins related information means, so what are the projects we have? Okay, so what are the plugins we have? What are the users we have? So everything, all the details will be available. Okay, so what are the source code we have, what are the artifacts we have for the Jenkins, everything will be available under varlib Jenkins. Now try to access this varlib Jenkins. So here, go to the varlib Jenkins. We are in Jenkins server, right? So as we already installed the Jenkins, we can see varlib Jenkins. So cd/var lib Jenkins. This is the Jenkins home directory. You see, current working directory. We are under valid Jenkins. Under this valid Jenkins, check what we have. So these are the Jenkins related files. What files we have? So we have config.xml and we have Hudson something, right? So this Hudson is nothing but the Jenkins old name. Jenkins old name is Hudson. Earlier Jenkins is called as Hudson. After that it is renamed to Jenkins. Okay. So now here out of these files, so under logs you can see the Jenkins application logs or project logs. Okay, under plugins we can see what are the plugins we have, and under secrets, if you remember, so the initial admin password, from where we get the initial admin password. So while trying to login into the Jenkins, from where we got the secrets, from we got the admin password from secrets file. So where this secrets file is available, this secrets file also available under valid Jenkins. What is this valid Jenkins? Valid Jenkins is the home directory. Okay, so under Jenkins home directory only, so we can see everything. Okay, so here you can see secrets and users information will be available, and jobs. This is important. Okay, so jobs is nothing but projects. So if we create any project in from the Jenkins UI, that project is going to be reflected under jobs folder. Okay, so if we have 10 projects, all the 10 projects we can see under jobs folder. Now go to the jobs folder, cd jobs. So you see nothing is there under jobs folder, nothing is there. So we are under valid Jenkins jobs. We are under valid Jenkins jobs folder. So under jobs folder, so you see what we have, ls hyphen la will show the hidden files, right? Okay, so we have nothing, we don't have anything here. Okay, so because why you don't have anything here? Because so still we didn't created any project. Okay, so this jobs folder is empty because still we didn't created any project. If we create any project, immediately that project will be available under jobs directory. Okay, so that is the one thing you have to remember. So cd dot you can see jobs directory under valid Jenkins. Okay, so these are the Jenkins related files. You see config.xml file. So under config.xml file you can see all the Jenkins config information. You can cat here. So cat config.xml. So you can see what are the options we have. These are the default options we have. If you want to change anything, we can change here. We can change here. Okay, so means all the configuration details will be available under config.xml file. And now, so we have these files, and here, so means that is the importance of valid Jenkins. Valid Jenkins is the default home directory of the Jenkins. Okay, and now here you can see different options. Number of executors means at a time how many builds we can execute concurrently. That information it is showing, and you can see Jenkins location. So this is our public IP address. You can see. So 3.1.110.151.92. This is the IP address on which Jenkins is working. Okay, and so you can see other options also. These options as of now we don't need. Okay, so we just go to the manage Jenkins here. Go to the manage Jenkins. Oh, what happened? Let's log in again. But in real time, we are going to use high configuration servers, right? So we cannot see this much of delay in the real time. Okay. So now we saw about these things, right? Here, one more option here is Jenkins CLI. So Jenkins is rich in UI. So whatever the operation we have to perform the Jenkins, we can use the Jenkins UI only. But if you want to go with the Jenkins CLI, so you can get the CLI, that is you can get the CLI information from the Jenkins CLI. You see, so click on this Jenkins CLI. So you can see what are the commands, Jenkins related commands we can use to work on the Jenkins CLI. So Jenkins commands means, so if I want to create a new project, so I can go with the Jenkins CLI. I can provide some command. So through the command line also we can create the project. We can so means we can we can build the project, we can delete the project. Every operation we can do through the Jenkins CLI also. So this is download the we have to, first of all we have to download the jar file, and we have to install this jar to work on the Jenkins. So this is this one we can use Java-jar. By using this, we can install Jenkins CLI. Once we install Jenkins CLI, we can use these options. So available commands. So build Jenkins build. What this Jenkins build command will do? Build a job. To build the project, we can use build option. Okay, so clear queue, clear the build queue. So if we have more number of builds in queue, right, we can clear the queue. Okay, so the copies of, so if you want to copy one project, so we can copy the projects. Okay, so like that we can see different options here. So these are the commands, Jenkins CLI related commands we can see here. Okay, so but if you want to restart the Jenkins, we can use a restart Jenkins restart command. But we are not going to use the Jenkins CLI. So mostly we are going to use the Jenkins UI only. And if you want to know the Jenkins version, so at the bottom you can see Jenkins version. Okay, so this is the Jenkins version we have. The Jenkins right bottom is, you can see on the right bottom, Jenkins 2.504.2. So this is the Jenkins version we are using now. Okay, so this is about the Jenkins CLI, but we are not going to use CLI because we will be very much convenient on the Jenkins UI itself. So we can perform any activity from the Jenkins UI itself. That is the reason we are not going with the Jenkins CLI. Okay. Okay, so these are the options mostly we are going to use. So if you want to know more about the Jenkins, you can see about Jenkins option here. So it's see the version and license information of our Jenkins. Okay, so that's right for the options we have. Now for go to the dashboard. And you see, so still we don't have any projects, right? If we want to create the project, so on the left side you can see new item. Okay, so click on this new item. So new item represent new project. Okay, if you want to create any new project, we have to click on the new item. So once we click on new item, so we can get the option. So to create the different types of projects, we have to choose which type of project we need. Okay, so we already discussed, right? We will have freestyle project, pipeline project, like that. So we have to decide which type of project we are trying to create. So now here I'm creating the project. Just to give any name to the project I'm giving. So my project one, my underscore project one. This is the otherwise my first. Okay, anything is fine. My project one I'm giving. So this is the name of the project I'm giving, and here is it. These are the options we see. What are the options we have? So freestyle project. What this freestyle project will do? We already discussed it, right? When we can use the freestyle project. So this is like a classic general purpose project type. Okay, it will get the code from SCM repository, and by using any build tool we can build the project by using the freestyle project. Similarly, we have pipeline project, multi-configuration project, folder project, multi-branch pipeline, so organization folder. So different projects, different types of projects we have. So initially we'll create a freestyle project only. We'll try to create the freestyle project only. So just to give the project name and select the type of the project as freestyle project and click on OK. Now, once we have selected the type of the project, right? So here we have to define the configuration of the project. Okay, means what is the source code we are using, from where we are getting the source code. Okay, so whether we are going to schedule our project, when we have to build. So all these informations we have to define. So for the freestyle project, we can see different configuration details we have to provide. What are the different configuration details we have to provide here is, so we can see general section. Under general section, so just we have these options. Under source code management section, we have to define from which source code we are going to uh, get the code. And we have triggers option. Under triggers option, we have to define whether we are going to means automate our project, or we are going to trigger the project manually. That information we have to define. And under environment, so it means, so the configuration in the environment specific details we can add here. Okay, and build steps means, so how we are going to build our project. So what are the which option, through which option we are going to build our project, that step we have to define in the build steps. And post build actions, you can see. So under post build actions, once our build is completed, once our project is completed, so what operation, whether we have to perform any other operations, so that operations we can define under post build actions. So these are the different configuration details we have to provide. So for the freestyle project. Okay, so now as of now we are not going to do anything here. So just we created project. So apply save. Once you save the project, then this project will be available on the dashboard. Now go to the dashboard, check the project status. Now go to the dashboard here. So earlier we are not able to see the projects, right? Now check what we have. You see, we are able to see our project, right? This is our project name. Okay, so my project one, and last success, last failure, last duration. So these are the different options we can see for our project. Okay, and here is the status of the last build. It is not build. What it is showing? Three blue dots it is showing, right? Three blue dots represent still this particular project not triggered, not built. Okay, so if the project got built, whether the project is success or failure, that status we can see under three blue dots.